Hey there, I'm Alex, and welcome to part 2 of my ArtWad program review series. In today's episode, we're finishing off the final 3 lessons in the Intro to Drawing for Beginners map, as well as discussing some recent new updates and changes to the program, some being good, and some, well, not so great for us. With that said, if you missed the first episode, I highly recommend checking it out. It is the ArtWad review, Is It Worth the Hype video, which I'll link in the description and probably put up on the screen here. With that aside, let's dive into the organics form section, starting with animating forms, learning how to briefly stretch and squish boxes and cylinders in space. After this, moving through recognizing and defining contour lines for random organic shapes. Then practicing applying our form wrapping contour lines together in animals and other creatures. Here we're working out drawing some organic horns. I really enjoyed this section. It was both challenging in trying to technically match and problem solve the cat's horns, and fun to see what I could come up with. Drawing the ram's horns was a fun little exercise, getting us creative with the workout. Designing different twisting and bending shapes to build our horns off of. And lastly, adding some more form suggestion with a little bit of some form wrapping and shading. Overall, the organic section was pretty fun. I enjoyed drawing the different creatures and working through the 5 different frog exercises, breaking down their shapes into sections, and drawing off of their reference images to then apply it all together in their imagination exercises. Oh, and the lizards were great fun too. I enjoyed the challenge of drawing them as well. Granted, I wasn't a fan of the insect section. Drawing a bee in 2-point perspective wasn't really that much fun, and the beetles weren't too interesting to me. I don't personally find them a subject I want to draw much of, but as practice exercises, I thought they were fine. Same for the ants and turtles. In the end, they were kind of boring. I mean, the subject's not very dynamic or interesting to me. I really wish the Intro to Organic section was longer and opened us up to applying our own organic studies, basically finding animals that we wanted to draw and applying what we learned for ourselves within our own kind of exercises and just playing around with it. Now on to form combos. This section covered intersecting different shapes together, and surprisingly even drawing a modern Minecraft house, which was completely unexpected. Funny enough, I actually recognized where they got the Minecraft thumbnail picture from for this exercise. I used to be heavily into the Minecraft community growing up, so this was a fun little nostalgia trip for me. Before art, growing up, I would build Minecraft worlds and design custom minigames and maps. I even worked for a couple Minecraft servers and a few clients doing commissions. From there, we move on to combining cylinders and practicing drawing wheels on trains and cars. This was a rather long course and featured many exercises I did like a lot, being useful practice for me. From form wrapping some medieval armor and accessories around a circle and cylinder, like gauntlets, to even some bike helmets. After that, I really liked the section on drawing axes in perspective and from different angles. I'll definitely be applying this in my own D&D characters, along with practicing extruding boxes into castles and different environments, with the addition of brick texturing to add interest to flat walls or towers. Here we're calling back to the organic section, drawing this octopus. It was a nice exercise to break back to organics before diving into several cylinder intersections, into boxes to form car wheels in perspective, and even some box stacking and intersecting grinding nodes. Here, we're creating trains from a simple orthographic view into a 2-point perspective constructed train. This was a pretty fun exercise, and I enjoyed coming up with my own train designs from a simple orthographic view to a 3D engine. From there, the very last train they had me working on was a little bit more complex. This was my favorite one out of the 3 or 4 I drew. I can't remember exactly, but I drew a bunch of them. I like the fact that they gave us the freedom at the end of constructing the train and putting it all together to draw whatever organic we wanted on the back of the train. So, of course, I drew a wolf, because why not? I've been pretty eager to draw something I wanted, seeing as ArtWod up to this point didn't leave us much space to encourage you to draw something for yourself within the exercises. It's not perfect, but I like him. I think the wolf came out pretty cool. And finally, secrets to drawing anything, which didn't really feel like much of a secret to me anyways. They just had me draw like not even half a cat and some dogs. This was a little disappointing to me. I guess you could practice drawing the cat and dog on your own and draw them in their entirety, like I totally would have done. But I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the ArtWad exercises that solve most of the problem and then just give you a little piece of it to solve. Maybe it's just me and I just like solving the entire problem. I'm a more advanced artist, so I like solving the entire thing and I don't mind doing the hard bits. Just how I've learned how to do art and stuff. But that's just me. This might be different for you guys or whatnot. After this, we moved through breaking down a plant and simplifying it, which was super cool to see Antonio's thought process for how he would tackle this and addressing the object as a 3D shape. In summary, Secrets to Drawing Anything was more of a review summary with a little bit of opening the gates on what is now possible with the tools and methods you have learned at your disposal, and just generally practicing and applying what you've learned. And with that, the Intro to Drawing roadmap is complete. All in all, it's been a really solid foundation map, and I can clearly see it has had the most time put into it compared to the other roads. Starting out in ArtWad, I had written out 2 goals in mind that I wanted to achieve using the program. First being, I wanted to use the program to help me round out my fundamentals. I'm a self-taught artist, so I wasn't quite sure what fundamentals I was lacking and needed to practice to improve my skills. As an introduction, I felt this map delivered pretty well on what I was looking for, and I can definitely recommend it to any beginner artists. Now for the critical part of this review, my second goal was to use ArtWad to advance my creature and character design skills. I am an intermediate artist looking to improve my work to a professional level. This is where I start running into some problems with the ArtWad program. From the outside, ArtWad is advertised like a polished product, but in reality, I really wish they just, put on the front page like ArtWad in development, very much still in active development. Now, I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound like a bad thing, and at first, I thought the same thing, until they made some recent decisions that have heavily impacted my trust and experience with the program. Starting with their not very well communicated plans to cut 3/5 of the program's content in favor of the new roadmaps. This change sparked a ton of controversy and a big divide in the community between members who trusted ArtWad's plans and other members that were astonished and taken aback by this change. I personally, from my experience taking different art classes, courses, and mentorships, I have never seen any art program do a change like this, cutting 3/5 of the program out and not really involving the community. They did an announcement talking about it, but there's no community vote or asking if, hey, would you be interested, is this a good idea? Or, I don't know, I didn't see an opportunity for the feedback. They presented it and said it's what they're going with, and that was kind of it. In the end, they ended up doing an apology to kind of help remedy this lack of communication and backlash on these changes that they plan to enact, which you can read through here. I'll link it in the description, it's good to read to kind of see where they're coming from and where they're planning in the future. I highly recommend, if you want to stay up to date with how ArtWad's doing and the whole program, if you're interested in it, totally join their Discord. Talk to the community, ask, what's in it, figure out what changes and different stuff's happening. It's kind of hard to make videos on ArtWad showing what's in it if they keep changing everything on you. In the end, some courses are going to stay on the program, which is nice. A lot of them are going to get reworked and remastered and adapted to their new roadmap section, which is exciting. But some courses are just straight up getting cut from the program, which isn't very fun. That means their creature design stuff, all those courses are getting completely removed and deleted, which really sucks for us because that's my niche. That's where I want to go with art, and that's a reason why I joined the program. Right now, if you are looking at ArtWad as like a creature designer, or you're interested in mech design or even prop design and stuff, now might not be the best time to join the program, seeing as on their list of courses getting cut, those are on the chopping block. And I'm really sad to say, like, for me, like, personally, creature design not making it is really, really sad. I was really hoping it would make it. Granted, there are other kind of creature design stuffs within ArtWad, like they can teach you how to draw dragons and wolves and birds, and that's about it so far. So there's something, but designing your own stuff, like griffins and all the fancy stuff, werewolves, the sorts, is not going to be supported at this time anyways. Like, when I was looking at ArtWad, some of the first videos I watched from them were their older ones, where they were talking about their organic cycles program and all these different kind of courses that they were doing for, like, designing your own dragon rider and drawing a werewolf, designing that for concept, and all these other really, really fascinating classes and kind of like courses that they were marketing. But since I've joined, I've seen so many of them aren't even in the program anymore, or not even available, which is really disappointing for me. I wish they would have, made it clear that, like, not all the stuff that they've advertised in the past is in the program, which is something I've never experienced in any other art programs. Most of them are just really happy just to have a wide net. I mean, even if the program isn't as great, like the courses or whatever, they'll still, like, provide them or whatnot. ArtWad is so much more different than what I thought. It's a living, breathing program, adapting to best fit its majority user base. And at this time, for 2026, I'm hearing they're focusing more time on better improving the beginner roadmaps and expanding them with Part 2 sections, with more difficult and challenging fundamental exercises, taking things to the next level. This is exciting, but in light consideration, also takes away some support for filling out the gaps for more advanced audiences of artists looking to level up their learning, past grinding more fundamentals and the introduction classes, which they still haven't quite finished yet / expanded completely on. For a simple example, just for demonstration, let's look at the Drawing Dragons map. We're still waiting on a Part 2 section, showing us how to draw the dragon in its entirety, other than just its head. And any real-time video format demonstrations, from what I'm seeing, is most of it here is just text-based, which is okay, but it would be really nice to see a video format of a walkthrough of the process for drawing the dragon, and this lesson to be expanded on. I know, we gotta be patient, and these things take time to make and format and plan, but I don't know. I have a sinking feeling it's not very high on their priority list, seeing how creature design is getting dragged off the crime scene in the background here. Word of advice: their subscription is not refundable, like other popular art learning platforms that give you a 30-day window grace period if you do change your mind. So please don't jump into a yearly subscription like I did, valuing taking advantage of a good sale, and then finding out later, once I was locked in, that most of the courses I was interested in from the programs past are not available anymore. Or may have been, or now being shredded into little blog posts that don't do much justice to the original video content, in my opinion. No offense, I don't mean to cause any offense here, but some just heavily market back to promoting you to purchase the program, which isn't very helpful or what I was looking for. I know they did this for a reason, because it's free content that they offer on the website to get you interested in the program, but I don't know, it didn't help me very much. Now, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but honestly, consider their free ebook. It might or might not have a sneaky little discount code at the end, so you don't have to be subject to a rushed sale-ending decision like I was. I recommend trying out their free trial first, then moving up from there and bumping up into a monthly subscription and seeing what you think. Like, get a good gauge before you commit to a yearly subscription like I did. Now, writing up this review, I admit this episode and my experience has been a little jaded towards the negative compared to my past episode. I just wanted to be honest with my experience and sharing it with you guys and to be informative for you, so you guys can make a better prepared decision looking into the ArtWad program and researching it. To wrap this up, this is only my current perspective and is heavily subject to change. I come from an animal drawing and creature design background, so this puts me in a very unique and odd spot in the program. With that said, I'll be reviewing and giving my input on their creature and animal road sections as they apply to me. I'm super excited to try out their wolves course. I might be a bit of a wolf and wildlife enthusiast in real life, and I've photographed and studied wolves up close and visited them in different wildlife centers and parks, so I know them very well and how they work. ArtWad might not be for me right now, but this doesn't mean ArtWad doesn't have the chance to change my mind in the future. And I want to be clear, I don't intend this review to spark any hatred or bad blood against their team or community. They are truly wonderful people, and I greatly enjoy hanging out, sharing art with them as a member of their community. I can forgive their missteps and finding myself no longer a part of their majority targeted audience. And with that, I do plan on trying and expanding my niche a little and taking on learning character design. And, struggling how to learn humans, which is, going to be a part of the process, and you guys are probably going to enjoy that, because I know creatures, but humans, that's going to be a nightmare. But anyways, even though my niche is not their focus, there are so many other niches that they offer and focus on that have a stronger say in the program's quality. So I have to give that a proper weight. And my timer is going off. Why are you going off? Would you knock it off? Stop. Anywho, with that conclusion said, I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.